What's going on, Spurs family? This is the day after T-Wolves versus the Spurs. I got to be in and out like a robbery. I got an exam to prepare for. So that's why I ain't set up or anything like that. But I really want y'all to listen to what I'm saying and give y'all comments. See if y'all seeing what I'm seeing, right? So we have been playing better. We played better last night than we did previously in the previous games. We got ran off the floor previous games, but we was about to get ran off the floor this game. But we showed some character. And first and foremost, I'm gonna mention this in the beginning of this video, Trey Jones, because he's the most disrespected player we have. All this talk about needing a better point guard, it's just not happening for me. I think he was, like I said last year, he was like top 10 in assist and turnover ratio. He just need to improve his 3-point shooting. If he improves his 3-point shooting, he'll be a serviceable player. And he's one of the reasons that we made that comeback in Phoenix. It wasn't Sohan on the floor. It was Trey Jones on the floor. And last night when we made that late push, even though he turned the ball over late, he was in that game when we made that push. Because his energy is just through the roof. I don't think he ever stops running. He pushes the pace. When he's cutting full speed compared to with Sohan. When Sohan's in the game, it's no disrespect to Sohan. He's just not a point guard. He's just being put in a position that's hindering his game. And so when he passes the ball and cut, he's kind of like jogging, and that's easy to defend. Can you imagine if you're a defender and you guarding Sohan and he passes the ball and he's just jogging, you just okay, And then when you playing against Trey Jones, he passing and he's sprinting, that's a whole different ball game. Now it's not much to the eye, but that really is a big deal. Playing full speed is a good deal. It's a big deal because it gets the offense through the motions faster, and it makes everything runs a little bit better. When Sohan's in the game, everything is kind of slow, right? It's kind of slow, and maybe that's not his fault, because then again, I have a problem with the Keldon Johnson, Vassell, and Victor in the game at the same time. I think it's too many chefs in the kitchen. Now, hear me out now. That could be a real reason why the offense is so slow and why the offense is not clicking. Because you'll have Sohan taking his shots, Collins getting the ball more than anybody. I think that's surprising. It seems like the offense runs through Collins. And then you have Vassell getting his shots, Victor getting his shots, and Keldon Johnson getting his shots. But once Victor ain't touched the ball in a while, when he gets the rebound, he pushes the ball up and shoots without even passing the ball. You know what that comes from? That comes from him not touching the ball enough. Because it's plenty of times on offense he don't even touch the ball. It's plenty of times on offense where he don't touch the ball. And so the frustration sometimes is, as a young player, he's going to get that rebound. He's pushing it up the floor. He's not passing it. That's bad offense. I don't care if you're Michael Jordan. I don't care if you Reggie Miller. I don't care if you Stephen Curry. I don't care if you LeBron James. That's bad offense. Coming up pushing the ball up the floor and shooting it while in a half court set. It's bad offense. It's bad offense. And the reason why it's bad, and the reason why that happens is because the player don't touch the ball. And he's thinking he's going to get his. It's too many chefs in that starting lineup. I truly believe we need to sit Keldon Johnson on the bench. He needs to be our sixth man. And I said that in the beginning of the season, that Malachi Branham is still young and developing. He's inconsistent. He ain't going to just take the game over. You know what I mean? He's just not going to do that. Keldon Johnson got that dog in him. He got that, I can take this over when I want to. Now, he might not be able to to do it um, as often. But if you put him in that second unit, where it's not that many chefs in the kitchen, Victor gets out the game at every 6 minutes, right? Every 6 minutes, Popovich pulls him. He got Vassell in there. So now you take off a threat, you put on a threat. It kind of balances. But when, if Victor get in foul trouble, if so you have these things where you can switch and switch out, where the offense, you always have a consistent threat on the floor. That also limit the minutes of Vassell, right? It also limit his minutes, so it helps him because he seems to pick up nagging injuries. So if you have a threat on the bench, and and you can even swap Vassell. Don't even have to be Victor all the time. We just know Victor get out the game every 6 minutes. But let's just say if Keldon Johnson picks up another, you sit Victor down, and Keldon Johnson pick up a second foul in that first quarter or second quarter. So now you got to sit him out as well. So I think Keldon Johnson will be a terrific six man. He'll still get his points. But the offense will run through him. It's just like Manu Ginobili. There's too many chefs in that starting lineup. And I think if you put Keldon Johnson on the bench, start Trey Jones, now you got a point guard that's actually the point guard. I think he's the only one that looks for Victor when Victor is running down the court with his hand up near the rim. That's where we want to give him the ball. Victor take too many outside shots. And I think Trey Jones is the only one that looks up at and see where Victor's at. And if he got the thing, he's going to throw it up there to him. I think he's the only one that does that, second nature. That's why he needs to be on the floor. Our offense also is too bunched up together. It's like poor spacing. We need better spacing. It's like it's crowded. Our offense seems like congested. We need to practice better spacing. I understand that it's going to take time to develop the chemistry of this team, but man, it seems like whoever got the ball, they standing right next to their teammate. And it's so easy to defend. We're so easy to defend because the spacing is horrible. The pace is horrible, except for when Trey Jones in the game. The pace picks up, but the players are still standing right next to each other, it seems. Even when, we running on a break, it seems like they running right next to each other. I think next offseason we need to address the offense, the spacing, the planning. This plan of Sohan at point guard and all that, I think it's just not. It's not working. It's not. We need to change up. Need to go to the bullpen. Need to go to the strategy board. Actually, we got to come up with something better than this. We have to come up with something better than this for next season or even mid-season. Around All-Star break. When everybody relax. I'm not saying bring them to the gym, but this is when the coaches should get together and say, okay, we need to. Or they should get together even beforehand and say, we got to, look at how we running things. We need to switch up how we running things. I mean, I don't know who idea it was to give Trey Jones a contract and sit him on the bench for Jeremy Sohan. And Popovich already complimented Trey Jones. If you felt that way about Trey Jones, then you need to start him. I forgot what he said about him, but you need to start him. There's too many chefs in that starting lineup. We need an organizer, and Trey Jones will organize that offense. So that's my um my takeaway from last night games and pretty much the season thus far. The offense need to be better spaced out. It need to be better ran. I think it's too many chefs in that kitchen. The ball just sticks and people go for these shots like, okay, it's my turn to shoot. It's your turn to shoot. Too many chefs there. What we need to do is balance this team out. This team is not balanced yet. And I think maybe Popovich is saying, okay, this is the year I'm a experiment. He got too much cachet. Rightfully so, right? He he got so much pull in the organization. He can say, man, I can experiment. I can put Sohan at point guard. If this was Popovich in the 90s when he first got the job, I don't think he would be doing too much experimenting. But let's call it what this is. It's an experiment because it ain't like they're going to fire him. Yeah, they're going to fire Popovich, right? He's too comfortable. I don't even see him yelling on the sideline anymore. He seems more calm. I like mean Popovich. I like the nasty Popovich. This Popovich, this nice guy Popovich. I don't like the nice Popovich. We need the old Coach Pop. We ain't going to get him, obviously, because, you can't time travel. But, somebody need to tell Popovich we need some nasty because he's a little bit too calm. Over under when he's gonna get his first technical or ejection. How he's going, he probably ain't gonna get any technicals until March. Too calm, way too calm. But that's because what he had done for this organization. They're not gonna fire him. He has time to experiment to see what works and what not works. Everybody will love that. I just think it's hard to believe that Popovich in the 90s or early 2000s would be doing too much experimenting because, before his championship, because usually championship coaches get the benefit of the doubt. But so I'm gonna say 90s. When he first got the job, if I don't think he'll be doing too much experimenting. But yeah, that's my take, man. Come on, Pop. We need some rearrangements in that starting lineup. We need a little bit more balance in the team. We need a little bit more spacing in the floor. You need to get on these players. Oh, on defense, tell them to put their hands up. Their hands, like Sean Elliott said, their hands is at their side. You can pass the ball around them with ease. Just put your hands up. I know Sean Elliott highlighted Victor, but the whole team is not putting their hands up. You can't play a zone with your hands on the side. I mean, you can't play any defense with your hands on the side. You just go right by the player or pass right by the player. Like, we really, really need to start drilling in. I remember Popovich, if you ain't playing good for the first 2 minutes and you start doing something that's outrageous, he's subbing you out. He ain't doing that. He's just watching, letting them figure it out. But I understand if you had the old team with Tim Duncan and all of them because they veterans. Yeah, they'll figure it out. I don't really got to do much. But this is a young team. They ain't playing well. Take them out the game. If they shooting bad shots, take them out the game. Too many players on this team got green lights. I still don't understand why Collins get the ball a lot, though. I know Collins is a bucket. I posted it on my channel that Collins is a bucket. But I think he touched the ball more than anybody on the squad. I mean, good Lord. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Now, he probably don't take more shots. I don't know. I gotta look at the stats. But he certainly touched the ball a whole lot more than Victor does. A whole lot more. Well, Vassell and them is the guard, so they're probably going to touch it, obviously. But he touched the ball more than Victor. There's times where Victor don't even touch the ball on the offensive end, and I think that is outrageous. That's our biggest mismatch, and he's too far away from the basket. I think with him, we need to get him more closer to the basket. You know, high post at the foul line, somewhere around there. Get him on the block a little bit, and then start having him, on the perimeter here and there, mixing it up, mixing it around. He's a little bit too much on the perimeter for me. But that's all I have. I'm gonna get back to studying. It's supposed to be in and out like a robbery. That's my day after thoughts. I get at y'all another day. Peace.